welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I am teacher Oakley, and in this particular class we're going to practice our English by discussing a sticky little point. We're going to talk about globalization, the information age, all of this wonderful stuff that provides information to all of us, trade unbound in the world. But is it a good thing? Let's talk about it. We can talk about various aspects of it, the internet, social media, and how is globalization affecting you? All of these things, and let's try to debate the idea of globalization. Is it actually good for the world, or is it causing intolerance, nationalism, and just downright bad behavior? Well, I don't know. Let me say hello to students here. Hello, Nesreen. How are you? Hello, Nesreen. Nesreen? Hello? I can't hear you. If you need to check the settings, or I'm not sure, maybe you need to log out and log back in.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hello, loud and clear. Very good. Hello, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, your voice is so far. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, let me check that. Hello. Okay. Not sure what... Okay. All right. Okay. Hello, Janine.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
You shaved your hair. You're bald.
Not quite. I have a little bit of stubble on the top here.
Yeah,
not quite bald.
Little.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cooler. Yeah, my new hairstyle. Okay, anyway, welcome to the class. Hello, Heidi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. And hello, Elise. Hi, Elise.
Hi, hello. Nice to see you again.
Likewise. Thank you. Okay, ladies. All ladies class. This is a pleasant turn of events. Wonderful. Okay, ladies, we're going to talk about globalization. And I don't know. You know, globalization, of course, is supposed to improve world's economies. We can talk about world's economies. The entire revolution in communications, i.e., here we are on a Google Hangout from all over the world. All of these things, okay, supposedly we're supposed to make the world a better place, but in fact, have they? I have a question. Take a straw poll, all right, a quick poll. Nesreen, do you know your neighbors now?
Not all of them, of course. Some of them.
Okay. You're, I don't know if it's the connection or what, but you're kind of coming in and out. Do you, okay, let me ask, not all of them, but some of them, all right. Do you think you knew your neighbors better when you were a child, or your parents knew your neighbors?
Yes, I believe that, yes, in all times people were communicating and were connected than nowadays, yes.
More than nowadays. Okay. All right. Well, there's an opinion based on a very basic question and talking about our personal experience. Let me talk to Janine. Janine, what do you think?
Well, mm, about what?
Do you know your neighbors now
Oh,
better than you did when you were a child, for
no,
example, or
and
your
I understand why you are doing this question. I think that globalization is tearing people apart, people that are close to you, and bringing people together, but people that are far from you. So maybe you are in your cell phone talking to a friend who is living in USA, but you are not talking to your mother or your friend who is sitting next to you. So maybe this is the ironic idea of globalization.
Aha. Yes. All right. Well, we're going straight for the jugular here, straight to the point. Okay, Janine. There is an irony involved, and I want to stay neutral, but I have to admit that I strongly feel that there is some irony involved in the whole idea of globalization, and I think you have a very strong point there. Let me ask Heidi. Heidi, how well do you know your neighbors?
Yeah, just next door, only that.
Next door? Well, these days that seems to be pretty good. When you were growing up, did you know all your neighbors when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was living in the countryside when I was a child, so the adult, the particularly wives, they exchange the meal. For example, I cooked too much, and then to distribute to the neighbors,
Aha,
or
right.
intentionally cooked excessive meal. But now I can't do that. I've never done that in here.
Yeah.
It's kind of troublesome. If I were given some meal from others, I'm not comfortable.
Okay. This is a very interesting point, I feel. Isn't that strange that we feel that way? Because I know exactly what you mean. I totally understand what you're saying. It would be great if, your neighbor cooked extra cookies when you were a kid and you got some extra cookies. Yay. But now you're worried that your crazy neighbor may have poisoned the cookies. Oh my God! Oh, horror!
Because if I were given something, I need to return something. So I'm not comfortable to think about that.
Okay. The social obligation aspect. Okay, because you remind me of a phrase, nothing really to do with the discussion, but I like this phrase. I wanted to share it with you. In English, for example, Heidi said we would sort of purposefully, not really, but kind of purposefully cook too much food and share it with the neighbors. We have a phrase, accidentally on purpose. So, and I know exactly what you mean. My grandmother would do the same thing, accidentally on purpose cook too much food. And then, oh, run this over to the neighbor's house. Okay. I know what you mean. Elise.
Hi.
Hi. All right. From a personal perspective, how well do you know your neighbors now compared to, for example, when you were growing up?
Well, I I know my neighbors pretty well. That's probably because of my son, because they love to talk to my son. However, compared to the olden days when I was younger, it seems that people talk to each other lesser than the olden times. When I was younger, everyone seemed to know everyone well, probably just because I'm from countryside, just like Haiti. So, but
Mm-hmm.
in the big city, in a big city, even though we live in the same building, we might not know each other. Then sometimes when we go to the lift, we don't often talk to each other.
Okay. Now, Janine brought up an excellent point. I mean, here we are. For example, great example. Here we are communicating with each other on Verbling, Google Hangouts, on the internet. We're from all over the world here, and here we are talking. So, okay, this is the information age. This is globalization here in action. I would argue this is a good thing. All right, but Janine makes an interesting point. Is there an irony here? I'm talking about knowing your neighbors, and it seems none of us know our neighbors like we did when we were a child. I'll make it unanimous here. But what do you think? The fact that we're here together communicating, that's good. But Janine pointed out, but we don't actually talk to the people close to us, our family and friends. Are you, Elise, do your family live near you, or are you far from your family now?
Who, me?
Elise.
Okay.
Sorry. Elise? Okay. Maybe you then. Since you're there.
Yeah. I live with my mother.
Nice.
That's my
Okay.
mother.
Okay. That's cool. Okay. So, all right. Let's talk about. I'm talking about knowing your neighbors, and it seems none of us know our neighbors like we did when we were a child. I'll make it unanimous here. Monica? But, what do you think? The fact that we're here together communicating. Monica? Oh my gosh. Yes. Monica, you need to close the window with the Hangout because it's gonna play again, and we can all hear it quite loudly. Okay. Or that. All right. Well, Janine, you noted that there's an irony. So the iron that implies that you think there are some benefits to globalization. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the good things, and then we can bash it later. Okay, what's good about globalization? I mean, you can think about economy, the internet, social media. What do you think are good points?
Well, maybe the good point is there now the boundaries are falling apart. So we we are more able to know different cultures, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and we have more than in the past. And, oh, I can't hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on now. Okay.
Monica, please mute yourself. Very noisy.
Why can't I mute? I'm trying to mute her.
Oh,
I'm trying.
And sorry, please mute yourself. You are killing my ear.
Monica? For some reason,
yes.
I can't mute her. Monica, please mute yourself. Okay. Please click the mute button up above. Thank you. Thank you very much. Monica, you need to close the window with the Verbling, with the live class going. Okay. You need to do that because we can all hear it extremely loudly, actually. We can all hear it playing and we can't conduct the class. So just close, once you're in the Hangout, you can close the Verbling window. You don't need it open anymore. And close it, and then we won't hear the live class playing a little later. All right? Hopefully you understand. Okay, Janine, I'm sorry. Where were you?
Oh, yes, I was talking about the benefits of
Yeah.
globalization. Yeah, this is a good example. We are studying together, like you
Uh-huh.
said, and we can connect with people from different places. That's good because makes us know different countries. And I think that maybe nowadays people are traveling more than in the past. That's good too.
Mm-hmm.
And the economics, I'm not pretty sure because I don't know pretty much about the economic system. But I think it's better too because now you're all connected with each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. All right. You broach economics. Nezreen. Nezreen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Nezreen, do you think globalization has a positive or a negative effect on world economy? And you can use specifics or speak in general as you wish.
Well, I believe that everything in life has its own pros and cons.
Yeah.
So of course there is pros and there are some cons, of course. But the benefits are that I think globalization has facilitate the exchange for the trade exchange between the countries,
Mm-hmm.
and also it has a deep in for example, any trend like wearing jeans. If the jeans is a trend in America, it will be trend in all the country over the world. So
Uh-huh.
this is my opinion.
Is that a good thing? But, however, is that a good thing?
Yeah, it's good for the company that made the jeans, I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
but
I have.
it affects the local industry. Of course, it affected. It
Ah,
affected
right,
badly. Mhm.
right. And
Mhm.
I have to tell you quite honestly, Nezreen, I got really sick of Gundam style.
Yeah, me too. Yes,
Okay,
me too. Yes.
you can relate. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, let's see. Monica?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about
Okay.
before.
Now we're okay. All righty. Very good. Ah, I feel better now. Okay, Monica, thank you for taking care
It's
of
my
the
first
problem.
time. I'm sorry. I didn't know
Okay.
how it worked.
All right. Well, you got it now. I can hear you. You can hear me. We're good. All right. We're talking about globalization. All right. Um, what is your view about globalization and the economy? Does globalization help? Okay, Nezreen pointed out, of course, there's pros and cons. What are some pros and cons, in your view, of having a global economy? What's good and what's bad?
Uh, I think it's good that we can use products from other parts of the world, but that's a bad thing too, because we don't eat, for example, the products grown in our countries. So
Hmm.
that means that the goods are transported from one place to another, very far away from the first place.
Yes. Okay. All right. Here's something I'm just too ignorant to understand, and if someone can explain it to me, I would appreciate it. Actually, I'm an American, but I currently live in the Philippines. Why? Why does the Philippines export rice to Thailand and Thailand exports rice to the Philippines? What is the point? I do not understand this. Why does that happen? And actually, they do the very same thing. I understand why they export to Japan and Japan exports here, because Japan has different rice. They have very high quality rice. So does Thailand. I understand there's different varieties of rice. I understand that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Uh, you know, and rice is a commodity. Okay, basic things are called commodities: rice, beef, pork, uh, flour, corn. These are basic commodities. Okay, is there really that big a difference? I mean, I understand things like toothpaste. Okay, we get a certain brand of toothpaste from America and another one from Japan, and okay, they're trying to open their markets and they can sell some products in a different country, and I understand that. But sometimes I don't understand when it's commodities, or heaven forbid, I really can't understand oil. Why on earth does the United States import oil and at the same time export oil? It's oil. It's not like it has a flavor that's better than another oil. Can anyone explain that to me, or am I stupid or what? I don't get it. Does anybody know? A really open question for the class. Why does America export oil at the same time they're importing oil? What is the point? I don't understand. Does anybody know?
Because oil is very important. Maybe America need
Yeah.
to keep oil. Then they are importing. Because if some war happen, you can't import oil from the Middle East countries.
Yes, I
Always
understand.
they are thinking about that case, worst case.
Right, national defense. But at this point, excuse me, United States has started to export oil.
Oh, well, from my understanding, I believe when America import oil from other countries, they might get it in certain low price. But when they export to other countries, probably they do something, for example, purify it or anything. They can sell it in a high price. So American is like an agency, you know. They can earn money through this process.
Like a clearinghouse or an agency, like a middleman.
Yes.
And even exporting oil, America. Maybe it came to keep some the alliance with other countries. Only limited to export only limited countries.
Aha. Okay. Well, that's very logical, Heidi. For
Another
political reasons.
Another possible reason might be that America is prepared. I mean, America is prepared for the for the demand. When the demand is too much, or when the store is too much, then they try to export. So they fulfill them. They are satisfied with their demands first. When their demands are met, so they try to export to other countries.
Those are very logical answers. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies. Very astute, and that makes very much sense to me for political reasons, because they're working as a clearinghouse, because they supply and demand. Actually, you've got to keep your product moving in order to make money. And I understand that. That basic business concept. You have to keep things flowing in order to make money. So, supply and demand. Those are excellent reasons. Thank you, guys. You guys are geniuses. You guys should start a company. Nader, are you there? Nader?
Hi.
Hi. Nader, we're talking about why America, well, we're talking about globalization, and economic globalization, but I posed the question, why does America both export and import oil at the same time? Why do so many countries export and import? Even Philippines exports and imports ice at the same time, which seems crazy. But anyway, we're talking about that. Do you have any insights? Does America do that just to support the petrodollar?
Nope. I know that the USA is importing oil at very low prices from the Gulf area, and it resells it for the normal price to the other countries.
Oh God!
So
So a
for me,
clearinghouse,
that makes much sense.
exactly what Eliza said. Eliza, okay, yeah, all right, understood. Interesting. Nader, what is your take on globalization in the economy? Good, bad? If it's good, who's it good for? If it's bad, who's it bad for?
The concept is very good, but the problem is that those who are in power, they use good reasons and good. They take any good idea and they manipulate it and for their own interests. So if you apply this concept in a fair way, in an honest way, it will be very good for everyone. But the problem is that all of these good concepts are in the wrong hands.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's move on. There's a couple other points to do with globalization, unless there's somebody else who would like to talk about economic globalization. I don't want to cut anyone off if anybody has something to add.
Well, I believe customers get the product they want at more competitive prices because companies are able to produce input goods and services required at the most competitive prices. For example, a lot of products from China because the raw materials or labor power are very cheap there. That's why the product is quite cheap also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it benefits globalization benefits customers as well as companies.
Okay, but Elise, the argument that many Americans would give you here is that because let's face it, Walmart and a few countries there's a couple arguments. They have manufactured in China, so they get lower prices. Yes, they pass on savings to the consumer. On the other hand, two things happen. One, the giant Walmart store puts out of business 5 or 6 small neighborhood stores because they cannot compete, because they don't have the same supply line that Walmart has, some of the big companies. All right, that's one argument. So then you have a bunch of unemployed people as well. Most of these places like Walmart, they're going to hire people, yes. So they hire people, but they hire people at very, very low wages. So although the consumer gets a better price, overall, the job market, labor wages are shrinking in the United States. Which maybe that's natural that Chinese labor prices are rising, American prices are lowering, wages I mean, are lowering. Okay. Maybe that's natural. Maybe that's a natural phenomena of global trading, that eventually all wages will even out.
Yeah, but instead, many companies withdrawing from China. Now they are moving to Thailand or another country, Vietnam.
Or Philippines, for that matter.
Before I mentioned, only several people dominate money over half of the world money.
Yeah.
For that people, it's very good globalization. They earn more money, more and more. But for poor people, it's very bad. For example, African countries, maybe before they manage their food by themselves, but now they can't do that. So poor people are starving to die.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Heidi does have a good point. There are easily searchable statistics which are quite shocking, actually. an Oxfam study. You can Google this. An Oxfam, which is a very reputable organization, did a study which showed, I can't remember exactly, it's 82, 84, 86, one of those numbers, 80 something, individual human beings, individual people own half the wealth in the world, and the other 7 billion, 600 million, 500 million own the other half of all the assets. That's not just dollar bills. That's all everything, property, cars, everything worth money. That is quite shocking, actually. That 80 people, 80 something, own half of all the wealth there is. Companies, business, everything. Quite shocking if you think about it. Why can't they share? Nader, please.
Yeah, but I guess this is not linked to globalization, because even if every country is working on its own, you will find this the majority will be poor, and only the minority will have the.
Okay, well that could be argued.
Before yes, before globalization, it was. I'm sure it was similar to this, and after globalization, it will be maybe it will get worse, maybe it will be improved, but I guess it will not make much
Hey, Nader, you keep cutting out. Unfortunately, because I really want to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry, I really want to hear you, but I can't.
Okay, enough of the. Yes, I want to. Can you hear me?
It's in and out, on and off.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, thank you.
I'm more sorry because I really want to hear what you have to say. But let me hear what some others have to say about this idea of the gap, the income gap, the difference between the ultra rich and the poor. Is it widening? Is it getting worse? It seems to be getting worse globally. And Nader does have a point. I've looked at statistics here in the Philippines. It's pretty much the same. Globalization hasn't changed anything. But most Western companies, and Japan, I might add, the gap, and China, the gap has gotten much, much greater and quite rapidly. So, but I don't know. What do you think? Is that a direct result of globalization or what? I don't know. Nazreen, do you think the economic gap between the rich and the poor, first of all, do you even believe that it is widened? Maybe you would dispute that. And what do you think about that? Is globalization a cause?
Maybe it has. Can I say distributed? It has distributed, not distributed. Contributed.
Maybe. Okay.
Yes, because I think the whole globalization concept is flowing is flowing towards the sake of the healthy and the wealthy and the rich people. Like you mentioned, the company that made the jeans has gained billions of dollars just for making jeans. Like for example, another example, the movie industry, the people who control the public minds by making a movie, and it gains a lot of dollars. So and you mentioned the gap. I think the gap between the rich and the poor, it's always there. It has increased nowadays, but it's always there. There is always gap between the rich and the
Yeah,
poor in all the countries
certainly.
in the world.
Sure.
Mm.
Sure. You know, and an interesting point, just because you used it as an example, I very recently, just a day or two ago, saw I mean, just very interesting information. You mentioned Hollywood and movies. Hollywood, of course, the famous movie producers. Um, their their economy of distribution and the money they make is increasingly, rapidly, and hugely much more dependent on other countries besides the United States. Actually, movies in the United States, people buying movies, consuming movies, is way down. But at the same time, in the rest of the world, Hollywood movies are way selling more and more popular. They're It's debatable where they are. Are they making more than before or less? But probably even or possibly more. But they're making far less in the United States. I find that interesting. American movies can't.
So,
American people don't
so,
like American movies anymore. It's
yeah,
interesting.
so Hollywood influences the people outside America more. They influence the people inside America. This is what
Yeah.
you want to say, right?
Well, you can infer that, and in fact, this documentary I was watching also inferred exactly that. For example, they have Hollywood movies where everything happens in Shanghai, okay? And basically, the Chinese government is made to look like they're some kind of gods, really, and the American government looks like bumbling idiots, all right? Very popular in China. They make a lot of money. I'm talking about the new Transformers movie. It's a tactic by Hollywood to make their movies popular in other countries. They started making movies here in the Philippines. There's like 2-3 movies being made in Manila that they haven't done that in 30 years. Why? Because people love movies here and they go to movies and they spend money. That's why. I'll tell you why. Movies are very popular here. So it's interesting.
And it's also a part of the globalization. Making movie Hollywood is the main part of globalization.
If I think about another point, if you go to the European countries, there are many people gathered from other places, for example, Africa or someplace, Italy or France. In Africa, many African countries, they can speak French, so they move to France, but still they are very poor. They can't get enough job, so they are very poor, like slum. Many people, African people, are living in slum. Then they lost their hope. They moved to other place. Then nowadays many Al Qaeda members came from France.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, they become terrorists.
Yes. Extremists. Okay, well, you opened it up, Heidi. You opened up that can of worms, so let's go there. Janine, oh, I'm sorry to see you have to go. Thank you. All right.
I'm sorry, I want to add. If they live in Africa, all are poor, but they don't have any gap. But if they move to France or someplace, gap is very big. So they lost their hope.
That's an interesting theory. That's an interesting idea. I hadn't really thought of it in that way. Interesting, Heidi. Thank you. Okay. Is this globalization, this traveling to other countries, is this stuff actually contributing to extremism and extremist behavior, which is actually what I wanted to talk about. Max, any ideas here? Do you think the rise in extremism is partially due to globalization and the information age?
Hello, everyone.
Well, hello, Max. Hi. Hi,
Yeah,
Max.
I have a lot of idea, but my level in English doesn't give me opportunity to hit and discuss.
Okay.
If you
I can help
don't
you.
mind, I just hear, okay?
Okay. All
Very
right.
interesting topic.
Okay.
I like talk about it in Russian.
Okay. All right. For you, Max, or for anyone else, if there's something you really want to say, please, this is an open discussion. Anyone can talk whenever they feel like it. You don't have to wait until I call on you, by the way. Okay. Monica,
Yes.
do you think that not just globalization, but the information age, social media, all of that, do you think that contributes to, lessens, it has no effect on radicalism, extremism, nationalism, all of that fun stuff, which frankly we're obviously dealing with in the world right now?
Well, I think it contributes, but the same way as good things are transmitted in the media too. No, for example, I don't know. Related to this, I comes to my mind the phenomenon that happened in 2011 when in Tunisia, and in Egypt, when there was the Arabic Revolution, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it rapidly was expanded, the phenomena, or the need to go to the streets in the media. No, they all
Yes.
communicate in the media and went to the streets. In that way, maybe it was a good thing, no? But of course, if there is something bad, something extremist, it also can be spread very fast in the media.
Yeah. Okay. So both good and bad can be expedited in the media. And by media, do you mean journalism or do you mean social media, Facebook,
Social
Twitter,
media, yes.
social
Sorry,
media?
social media, yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, social media. Wow. Okay. Nezreen, let's talk about social media a little bit. No doubt, social media is obviously these Facebook, Twitter, etc., are part of globalization. I think that's undeniable. Well, here we are in Google Hangouts, for example. But
Yes.
okay, Nezreen, do you think in any way that social media is responsible? Well, for good things. Tunisia, many would argue, is a good thing, but of course, there's also many bad things. Okay, that have also happened. Syria, ISIS. Okay, well, some may argue against that they are bad, but I don't. Okay, let me just say, does social media is social media in any way responsible for some of these bad events, like the rise and organization of some radical extremists?
Yes, of course, but in my country, I'm from Egypt. I think social media has played a very crucial role in the Egyptian revolution that happened and that has taken place in 2011.
Yeah.
And nowadays, because we live in يعني we live in some conditions. I believe that social media has a deep influence in communicating with each other and exchanging idea about what's happening around what's happening in my country without feeling under pressure or without feeling controlled, like because people here actually live under the control of the media. So I think so the social media gives us the free to speak without feeling this control.
Okay, the freedom to speak. Okay.
Yes, freedom to speak.
Okay, interesting. I have a crazy question for you. There are some countries which are basically closing down their internet, their social media, basically deglobalizing the internet. I don't know how else to say it. I just made up that word. I don't know. It's not a real word, but maybe it is now. What do you think of that? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Is it fair to the citizens of those countries? Is it fair to the world?
No, of course it's not. They want, يعني they did that. They do that because they want to control the people's mind, and they want to make them under their influence. So they do that because they want to stop people from exchanging information or talk about the regime or how we gonna fight this regime or we don't like this president. So I think it's not fair, of course.
Okay. Uh, hmm. 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 Okay. Nader, do you have any ideas about that? Is it okay for a country to have intranet, close themselves off from the worldwide internet?
Sure not, and I totally disagree with this. Now in Egypt, they are trying to monitor because they know they cannot close these websites, so or block it. So now they are trying to monitor. Officially, they announced that they are going to monitor it. So for sure, this social media or any kind of media can be used by the authority or by the radicals. Depends on the the people who use the social media. You cannot say that social media increase the number of radicals, or you cannot say because anyone can use anything. Like it's like TV, it's like internet, it's like everything else. Anyone can use it. If you are a radical, social media will not make you a moderate one, or it will not make you more radical. So I guess this is not a problem. Because I live in a country which has so many radicals, I understand the idea, and I understand the idea or the mentality of those radicals. Those radicals are coming, and all the time they are using this reason. We are radicals because of you. Every action has a reaction. Because we are oppressed, we are acting like this. So, and in the Muslim world, they have this concept of Muslim brothers. Every Muslim in every place of the world is a brother of another Muslim. So if you oppress someone in Israel, now you are acting against me. So those people who are trying to, those terrorists who are trying to harm the USA, they say, at least they say, we are doing this because the USA is supporting Israel and Israel is oppressing Palestinians. So we are defending Palestinians by attacking the USA. So I guess this has nothing to do with globalization. This if there is no internet or if there is nothing at all, wars and these kinds of actions are related to really different things like operation, fairness, and this freedom.
Okay.
Totally different things, I guess.
It's totally different things. Okay, I see your point, but I don't. It's hard to deny the speed of communication, which affects the speed at which these things happen. kind of a speeded up version of what would happen anyway? Would you go so far as to say that?
Sure, everyone is using these new tools for his own benefit. Radicals are using it. The authorities are using it. So everyone, if you have it's like weapons. If you have a weapon, sure you will use it for your own benefit.
To be honest, Nader, I need a scorecard now. I can't figure out what's going on. To be blunt about current events. Now let's see. Okay, let me keep score. America is fighting with Iran against ISIS, but we're supporting Israel, who's fighting against Iran in the Palestine, and meanwhile in Libya, UAE and Egypt are bombing Libya, it's getting downright confusing. And soon America will be attacking Syria to help out Assad, but on the other hand, we're fighting against us. We're giving arms to other people who are fighting Assad. Really, I can't keep track without a scorecard. It's become such an infuriatingly insane mess. I can't even understand. It's so tangled and twisted.
Yeah, it's policy. They say you never have lasting enemies or lasting opponents. You have only lasting. What is the saying?
What is the saying? I know where you're going. I know where you're going, but I
only interests last. This is the meaning.
Ah, right. Yeah, the idea being it's only about the interests at the time.
Yes.
Enemies
yes.
So friends will be enemies. Yeah.
Yes. So now, if Assad has something to offer the USA, they will help him. If he has nothing to offer them, sure they will attack him. So, or if a supporter of Assad, like maybe like Iran, it's all about negotiations. Iran can sell the Assad and his regime in a minute if they can get benefit from it. So they are using him and his regime, and the USA is always ready to do anything for its own interests, as every other country. So this is something logical.
There seems to be a lot of countries playing both sides against the middle. Do you know that phrase? Playing both sides against the middle. Well, there's a good one to learn. Okay, I'm going to type it up here. In the meanwhile, I want to go over to Heidi. Heidi, what do you think about the role of social media in globalization? Is it overall a good thing? A bad thing?
It's very difficult because social media, the information spread around very quickly, so people don't have enough time to think about the information.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. There seems to be a lot of reacting without a lot of thinking in the world.
Yeah, some opinions are very strong. Almost all people, the opinion lean to that opinion very quickly.
Yeah, well, see, here's the problem I have. Now, you've hit on something. The whole herd mentality, mob mentality, like cows, like sheep. One starts going in that direction, and so everybody follows.
Like cyberbullying.
Like what? I'm sorry.
Cyberbullying. Someone bullied someone, then other people agree with that. Oh, it's very bad. Many information are spread around. The only one person they bullied together.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see your point. Okay.
China, there are limits the social media. Maybe for government, it's a very good thing. Because if all people in China know about their situation, many poor people are living in the countryside, or mountainside, or some place. They don't have any electricity or gas or water supply. If they know about that situation, then even many people are living in a city side, Beijing or some place. They are very rich they drive a very good car. They have their own companies. So if they know about that, it's any more communist country.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting in China. I've worked with Chinese students. It's very interesting. I'm not making any opinion about it. I'm just reporting facts here. It's very interesting that in China, my students, people I have as students, can only be students because they're rich enough to afford a VPN. They get a proxy server,
Yeah,
and
that's
then they can get internet anywhere in the world. They can get on Facebook. They can come
yeah,
here
that's
to.
right. They have computer and they learn English. Quite rich people, so they don't
Right,
complain with that. But a lot
right,
of people are living in the countryside. They don't have any connection
right.
with the electricity.
And even if they did have connection, you have to pay to get out. It's a rumor. It's not true that Chinese people cannot look at the internet all over the world. They can, but they have to pay extra. There's the caveat. There's the sticking point. So it's really only rich people who get to see the whole world through the internet.
Hmm.
An interesting tactic by their government. So even some of my students, Chinese students, I have to do workarounds because they can't afford VPN. It's expensive. They can't afford a proxy server in order to. They can't. Never mind Google. Many of them can't do this. You got to pay. That's the deal. So it's interesting. Interesting strategy there. Okay. Max, you sure you don't have anything to say here?
Only, I think, social media like we have now, I think it's bad thing, really. I think bad. Because for people, you talk about 80, 87, 89, something like that, who have, how to say, how you said, I forget. Okay, nothing. Never mind. These people have easy way to manipulate in our people by
okay. The few.
nowadays social. Yeah, nowadays media social.
Yeah, there was recently in the news. There was a very interesting little experiment, unauthorized and unannounced, that Facebook did. They did a little social experiment. Oh, hi, baby.
Hello. Okay.
Hello. Cool. Hi there. They did now that's fun globalization right there. But in any case, Facebook did a little secret experiment they didn't bother to tell anyone about. They posted in Facebook news feed all bad news to one group, to half, and all good news to the other half. Well, lo and behold, they got posts and wall posts and etc. from the bad news people. They manipulated them in a very clear way to they were posting bad things and let's kill them and let's fight and they fomented anger, angry posts and or depressed posts quite easily by simply manipulating the news feed, as opposed to oppositely who they fed all la 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 kind of news. And the people posted in their Facebooks. This is an experiment with like 168,000 people or something. So this wasn't 12 people. And mostly the Facebook users were posting mostly positive comments by a large margin, simply by manipulating the information that they were allowed to see or that they were provided. Not allowed to see, they were allowed to do anything, but people are lazy, so they look at their Facebook newsfeed. So they were easily able to manipulate huge populations of people.
Yeah, I could add. I don't have any Facebook, like something like that. How to name it? Profile.
Social media.
Profile. Yeah.
Profile. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have. And Actually, I try avoid listen news.
All right. I'm gonna search for you, Max. I'm gonna look for Max with the Dalmatian. Let's see if I find you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about out of time. Any last comments that anyone would like to share before we call the game? Very interesting discussion, everyone.
We need to
Part
again
2.
to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Part 2. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. And we might just do that. Thank you all very much. Actually, very interesting discussion. You guys all had great points. Heidi, super. Nader, awesome. Thank you. Monica and everybody who had to split early, thank you very much. Nazreen, Elise, Janine, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.